welcome to Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow, episode 10. I am your host, Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, and I am joined by my co-host, Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hello. I'm actually in a Tigger onesie today, so I'm the shark in Tiger's clothing.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. But anyway, we're here to talk about all the super flashy arrowness, the Berlanti verse every week. Same time, same place, right here. Creation Magazine.
This week was so good.
Yo, best team up ever. Felicity said it best, because that's what it really was. Made me happier than it really should have. Like, it was great. I had so much fun with it. How about you?
Me too.
What was that?
Literally couldn't have gotten. I said me too. They literally couldn't have gotten any better with it.
I won't go that far. They probably could have done better, but I enjoyed it a lot. I'll talk about my qualms with this crossover later when we get to the certain parts I had problems with. But overall, yes, I really did enjoy it.
Well, for a 4-episode crossover, I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they did like necessarily a bad job. I'm saying they did a good job. I'm just, I wanted more, but that's just because I'm greedy like that. But
No one likes greedy.
It depends on the kind of greedy you are. If it's the kind of greedy that makes things better,
Yeah, I guess.
Oh man, how you doing this week though, Mara?
I'm doing good.
Cool.
I think coming back from that week, I was actually under the impression that this week of the crossover was going to be the mid-season finale, and I was just like, how are you going to just leave for winter with like Flash and all that stuff, and they're not going to address that Julie and his fucking alchemy? But that's a completely separate issue. But turns out they are.
See, there's certain episodes, like certain shows. I think Supergirl, that is the mid-season finale. And
yeah,
I don't know about the others though. I got to look at that. Probably should have looked before we started recording. But I know Supergirl. That's the mid-season finale for Supergirl. But
yeah, and I know Arrow has an episode this upcoming week, because I was like, how are they also going to end for the winter without addressing fucking Evelyn?
Yeah, that too. But we'll get to Arrow in a bit. But yeah. So all three of the other shows are happening next week. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think Supergirl, but I don't know about Legend of Tomorrow either.
Yeah, I know Supergirl was the mid-season finale. I know that, but
there's nowhere you could really go with that. So
yeah,
without having to extend it.
You are right. But yeah.
There is a Legend of Tomorrow next week, so it's everything but Supergirl.
Everything but Supergirl next week. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I probably should have looked at that before we started recording, but I didn't. It's most likely your fault, and even if it's not, I'm gonna blame you for it anyway. Because I'm not gonna blame myself. So
preparations for the week.
Yeah. Want to go ahead and get into it though?
Yes, let's, because I have notes for days.
All right. Well, let's start with Supergirl then. That was Monday. Episode called Medusa.
Can I just start with
it?
That at first, like, so when we got like further into the week, I started thinking, I was like, I don't really think the plot of Supergirl this week had anything to do.
It had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. But till the end, when Barry showed up, when you saw those breaches, you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? But after it happened the second time, I'm like, oh, that's Barry. Like, I knew it after the second time it happened. So it's just...
Thanksgiving dinner, when it happened the first time, I was like, all right, okay, we're going to get this started early. And then it closed. And I was like, guess not. And then it opened the second time. And I was like, all right, here we go. The aliens are coming.
Yeah, see, with
No?
me, I thought
Okay.
like with this whole thing being, heroes and aliens. The first time I thought maybe it was the aliens. But after it happened, the second time, I'm like, oh no, that's Barry. That is Barry. That's what those breaches in the multiverse shit looks like. Like that's Barry right there. So we'll see it in a minute, and we got him. But let's talk about this actual Supergirl episode. I know we want to get into the actual crossover shit. I do too. But let's talk about Supergirl first. All right.
One, it was great to see Mama Danvers.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that mothers know all.
Oh
When
yeah.
she called out, Monel liking Kara.
Called out Monel liking Kara. She also called out Alex being gay. Like she knew. She knows. It's just
Mama knows all. We know everything about our children and your friends and their intentions.
and you with your friends. Oh man.
And
Yeah.
and I must say this now
Say
because we have to get a shout out to Shayna again because she told me to call you out on it for last week's episode. You confused Maggie with McGann, and you were talking about McGann, and you said Maggie when you were talking about their the right parts. Do they have like all the right parts?
Did I?
And she told me to tell you that for the record, they do, since Martians have had relations with humans in comics for years.
My bad, Shayna. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You can also
That's good news for me though. Like that's the way I see it. So
you can always count on Shayna for calling you on your shit.
you know it better than I do. So yeah, I'll trust you.
But yeah, so what else did I write? I was like, so when Mama Danvers confronted Mike about, or Monel, about his feelings, he is really bad at acting like, no, 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 of course not.
Yeah. Yeah, when Kara asked me like, have you seen the girls that I like? Yeah, what's your point?
So, yep. And then it got into Lena, you can't be that dumb, to Lena, you clearly are that dumb. When Kara went to confront her about her mom, she's just trying to let her know, like, your mom's evil, and I know you're trying to get away from this, but your mom's also evil.
Well, you saw that was actually a setup though. Like it was Lena setting her mama
Oh,
up.
yeah.
She knew better. But at first I was like, oh, you motherfucker. But I did say
Right.
like it might be a setup. But then like some shit happened. I'm like, oh, well, never mind. Maybe it's not a setup. And then it was like, oh, I guess it is a setup.
I just couldn't take away from, like, I couldn't take it when she was when Supergirl was trying to tell her, your mom runs Cadmus and all that. And then she was like, first your cousin talked bad about Lex, and now you're talking about my mom. How long is it till one of you guys come for me? And I was like, that it's not the same thing. Because I
It's
mean, like,
not.
they
It's
actually
not.
do bad things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
Like, for a fact they do. I mean, you renamed a whole corporation because your
'Cause you're
brother does bad things.
yeah.
Like, unless you plan on starting to do bad things, I feel like she's not gonna come for you at any time unless you start doing bad
Well, that's
things.
the thing. I don't think she actually believed that she was gonna come for her. I think it was all just her setting up because she had to talk to her mother first. She's like, yo, I need to talk to her first before I just start giving shit up. So like, yo, Ma, what the fuck you doing? And I
That
need to
shit was
know
crazy.
before, like, Supergirl comes after me and shit. Because, this reporter and Supergirl like this. So I need you to, like, get your shit together.
Right.
Or let me know what's going the fuck down before, shit happens.
But yeah, I was happy to see that, she turned against her mom. Well, not, yeah, because she also went and called the police on her. And she was like, yeah, I took out that thingy thing out of the thingamabob. I also called the police on your bitch ass.
Yeah, man. But I need to take a minute because we need to talk about Cyborg Hank.
I mean, Cyborg Superman,
No,
because
no,
I'm
no,
really getting tired of hearing that.
no. He is Cyborg Hank to me for multiple reasons. One, because you saw the scene when he was, at it's not LexCorp. What they calling it now?
Elcor?
Yeah, LCorp. When he was there, and it looked like they took a steel plate and just put it on his head.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about how bad that looked as compared to like later scenes when they like fixed it and it was just like over the eye and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, really? Really?
I can't even take the Superman, or Hank thing seriously because, like, it's so, like, this is what we were talking about last week. It was like, why out of all times would you make Cyborg Superman look like someone who's not Superman? I feel like this would have been an awesome opportunity for them to use Tyler Hoechlin since they hired him to
You
play
just
Superman.
want him on the show more.
That too, but still, it makes no sense to call this man Cyborg Superman. He don't even look like Superman.
Yeah, I
He
know.
looks
I
like
know.
Hank Henshaw.
Exactly. That's Cyborg Hank. That's why I called him Cyborg Hank. I don't call him Cyborg Superman because that's not Cyborg Superman. Those of you
Like,
who have read the Reign of the Superman comic books know that Superman has Cyborg Superman, and Cyborg Superman looks like Superman with Cyborg half of his face and shit.
right. So it's like, what the fuck? But can we talk about my favorite part
Nope.
of this entire episode?
What's your favorite part?
Because, and I'll go back to, like, a few weeks ago when I kind of felt like I was getting that vibe. And to, like, actually quote, that was the 11th of November. So that week, yeah, because I have my notes in chronological order. Um, Mike and Kara kissed.
Oh, they did. That's right. Because he was all like crazy and shit from the meds and shit. And then tried to act like, the next day after he was all well and good that didn't happen, even though we all saw that he remembered the shit. But yeah, they did.
Oh, of course. She's like, we're
Monel
not going to talk about it. And
slash
it's also
Mike
just
and
shows you
Kara.
how gullible Kara is.
Yeah. Kara Zor-El and Monel kissed. They shared a meeting of the lips.
A locking of the lips.
Yes, there was a lock. It wasn't just a meeting. It was
Twisting
a
of
lock.
the tongue.
You're right. Was there tongue? Was there tongue?
I don't think there was,
I
but
don't know if there was tongue.
I'm just thinking of more ways to say it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Maybe there was tongue. We just missed it. Maybe they slipped the tongue a little bit. It's the CW. They get the the most attractive people to put them together. The shit might happen.
And Monel is just
It's just what, Mara?
could rub my vagina all over his face.
He prefers females of the alien persuasion. All right.
And just know that.
And it varies the type of alien too. It doesn't have to be from the same planet. He doesn't seem to like the women of the Earth persuasion.
He hasn't met New York girls yet.
You might be right.
Exactly. But yeah. That was like probably my favorite part. Can I just say this is like the first week I've actually stayed home and watched every episode live while it happened.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Like normally, like, maybe I can catch Supergirl and probably Flash when they come on. It's mostly Flash. I always forget when Supergirl comes on. But I always catch the Flash for some reason. And like this week I watched every episode as they came on actual TV.
That's
and I
awesome.
was just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, usually because of my schedule, I have to catch it the next morning. So that was how my week was this week also, just because of the things I had to do this week. But yeah.
I mean, I guarantee
sometimes I'm able
go
to catch
back
them.
to regular.
Yeah, sometimes I'm able to catch it live, but luckily there's a CW app, even though it's not Hulu, so I still have to watch, ads like a peasant. And yes, I'll continue to say like a peasant.
It's all right. I say it now too. You rub that off on
Because
me.
that's how I feel when I have to watch ads on shit. Like between Netflix and Hulu commercial free, like I really feel like I shouldn't have to watch commercials anymore or
True.
ads of any kind. I give them an extra $4 a month on Hulu to eliminate that. I pay YouTube $10 a month, so I don't have to do that.
You draw, and I couldn't pay. I can never pay YouTube.
That's because you never experienced YouTube ad free. Like YouTube Red makes me so happy, especially considering the fact that you can save videos offline. So like you can just YouTube random songs and save that video.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Nothing feels better than when you're you're supposed to be at work. You got your Bluetooth in your ear, and you just open up your YouTube and open up a video that you have saved, and you hear, do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy? Yeah.
How did we get here?
Why are you questioning it? Just go with it, all right?
Okay.
We were talking about Supergirl, though. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also another favorite part of mine.
What's that?
So with Lena, taking that proton thingamabopper and then taking out the other mabopper thing in it that changed it. I don't remember the name of it, to be honest.
Isotope 454 is what it was called.
And so when the bomb went off that, Cadmus was trying to set off that would disperse that toxin that would kill aliens, she reversed it. So while we were all kind of curious in seeing a fully white Martian John, we only saw like this really creepy hybrid green-white Martian.
Yeah, it was like a pale green Martian.
Yeah, like I got the flu Martian.
Yeah.
And instead, we cured John, which was great because I was kind of curious how that was gonna go.
Yeah, I thought that was quite convenient. Like yeah, we got the cure for turning John into a white Martian. Also the cure for Mon-El with this virus, all in one sweep.
Right, because John was like there, like ready to die, and I was just like, no. And then it was like, oh, I'm cured.
Yeah, all just like in the last 5 minutes of the episode. Like, yeah, you're cured, everything's fixed, no worries.
That's why I was like, this episode had nothing to do with the crossover. It just introduced Barry into being like, I need your help.
Like, they came in like, hey, remember when you said you'd help me out? I need you to help me out. And she was like, yo, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Tuesday.
Wait. There was one more thing.
What, the Alex and Maggie makeout session?
Maggie and Alex are now a thing. Yes.
I knew that's what you were going to talk about. Oh, man. Yeah, I know. Because
I was just like, Maggie is so confusing, but I was like, yay. Now you can start saying things like Malix.
Oh, God.
Don't be mad. Just accept it.
I will. I'm just not going to say it, but yeah, I'll accept that you say it.
Okay. That's fine. I can live with that.
But going back to Elena Luthor, it's funny looking at my notes from that when I was just like, yeah, Elena offered to give her mother isotope 454, and I was like, yeah, probably a plan to stop her. I'm like, or not. Oh, okay, I was right about Lena.
Yeah, mine says, Lena, you can't be that dumb. Lena, you clearly are that dumb. Then you get lower down. It's like, oh, okay, Lena, you're not that dumb.
No, not Luna. We're not talking about your kid right now. All right?
I always like talking about my kid.
Oh, man. But, at the end, Barry shows up, pulls her in like, yo, we need your help. And that brings us to Tuesday's episode of The Flash, called Invasion. I'm just going to call this Invasion Part 1 because all, the episode of Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow were all called Invasion. So this is Invasion Part 1.
Woo!
They kick it off with, them testing Wally's speed and, skills and all that kind of shit.
Oh gosh, fucking Wally.
See, here's the thing about Wally, though. It's just like, I understand his whole, I want to get out there and help because I got this speed now and shit. I think the rest of the crew is like they're doing a real shitty job of explaining, like, yo, I need you to chill for a minute. They just tell him, like, we don't want you out there yet.
Right.
And that's just not helpful. Like, listen, we just need you to get a little bit. Tell them, like, yo, we need you to get better. That's all. We just need you to get better. And you're like, yo,
Correct.
Barry got out there when he wasn't this good. Like, yes, we know. And Barry almost died like 700 times because we sent him out there when he wasn't ready yet. So
Exactly.
we're going to get you together first, and then we'll send you out there. Iris being the protective older sister and all that kind of shit, it's whatever. What I really want to talk about is Cisco, though.
Go on.
And how pissed he is still. Which, once again, I get it. Because Barry's selfish ass went back and decided to save his family. And in the process of trying to save his family, basically...
Fucked everyone else's family.
Yeah, fucked up everybody else's family. Like, causing Cisco's brother to be dead. Like, he's the only one who fucked, in this fuck up has legitimate beef with Barry off of this,
Mm-hmm.
His, his shit caused, a member of his family to actually die.
Right.
But yeah. Then we got this whole...
I mean,
What's
I
up?
get it. It's just kind of, you don't have to keep beating it like a dead horse.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think he's really beating it like a dead horse. It's people trying to draw him back in, which causes him to say it again because they keep like, yo, why don't you talk to Barry? Like, yo, listen.
How many times I gotta fucking
How many
say
times
it,
do I
girl?
have to tell you what the fuck he did? So it's really not even his fault that it keeps getting brought up. So I understand him not liking Barry or not wanting to talk to him for a while. Because this is all happening pretty close together.
Yeah.
But
And then,
you got HR or, new Wells trying to open up Star Labs to the public. Like, yo, send them all in here to look at the shit. Because why not? And they're like, because what the fuck, dude?
because he's not fucking ready.
Yeah, he's just trying
And we're
to
not trying to kill him.
Yeah, they're trying to be useful and shit. But after that, we get aliens.
But can we just talk about how convenient the timing was that, they show that Cisco's still upset with Barry, and not Barry, Cisco finds the iPod that has Stein and Firestorm, because we finally get to hear the message that Firestorm heard, a couple episodes back from Future Barry. So Cisco's still upset, and Cisco has now found the iPod that contains that message, and he goes, "Bro, how long have you known about this? Are you gonna tell the team before they go out into this mission with aliens?"
I don't
And
like snitches. I do not like snitches at all.
Right, I was literally like, "No, Cisco, that's not what we're going to do." Especially now that we're getting ready to go out to fight a team of aliens.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get it. Like, yo, listen. Yeah, I'll talk to y'all about this after we handle the motherfucking aliens. Like, we do not have time to deal with my fuck up right now.
Doesn't take away. I was like, them knowing any of this really shouldn't take away from the fact that there's aliens coming. Like, I didn't understand it. Like, I was like, yeah, I understand. Okay, don't take orders from me. But for real, though, this alien thing got to be taken care of.
Yo, let's talk about this whole taking orders from Barry thing. Because we all know who should have been in charge here. It should have been Ollie. It should have been Oliver who should have been in charge of this shit. But you were like, yeah, Barry brought us all together,
Right.
so he should be in charge. The fuck?
Like, Oliver just been making bad choices, all all season. So, but yeah, so it's kind of just like, no, Ollie, that's not, let's not do that. You've done this a lot longer than Barry has, and it's crazy because even like when you realize when they're earlier team ups that even Oliver said it, like, you jump the gun sometimes way too much, like, especially when you're trying to be in charge. So it's like, uh, no, you should not be in charge. Everyone was like looking like, what do you mean Oliver should be in charge? Oliver should always be in charge.
Yeah, like Oliver is the one who is the actual leader of all of these, shows and all that. If it comes down to it, if you need to count on one person to lead everybody, you look at Oliver. It is him every time, all the time.
Never anyone else. Like, for God's sakes. Oh my God. I can't believe he pulled. I feel like this week Oliver was just kind of like, fuck it. I don't feel like having this kind of responsibility.
Well, that's the thing. Even so, he was still just telling Barry everything to say.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he even tried to get Supergirl to sit out of some stuff because he was just like,
That's later. Hold off on that. That was on Thursday. That was Thursday.
Episode?
Yeah, that was Thursday. That was Legends episode.
Look, after a while, they just started all blend together. I kept seeing the same people for 4 days. So
yeah, I hear you.
But you get what I mean, though,
yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, even still, like, I was like, even so, Oliver was still kind of taking charge. I just feel like he just didn't want credit for it.
I will say, seeing all these new interactions between characters was a lot of fun, though. I did enjoy this one. Like, of all the crossover episodes, I will say this first episode that was actually the crossover, the Flash episode, was my favorite one.
Yeah. And then everyone gets their mind taken over. And I was just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, we get that whole fight between all of them. We find out Stein has a daughter, though, Martin Stein.
Oh, I have a question.
What's your question?
I mean, you can make your theory and our listeners can make up their own theory. What does everyone think where Baby John, or formerly known as Baby Sarah, where is Baby John when Dig and Lila are busy? Because they were both kind of on this case.
Babysitter.
So, babysitter?
Mm-hmm.
That's one well-paid babysitter.
Speaking of Baby John or Baby Sarah or whatever the fuck, I'm finding it very hard to understand why John is so pissed. Like, it's just
right. Like, was it like your life's intention to have a daughter? I mean, like, you guys are still very healthy, well-abled people.
He was like, you just
kid.
erased the daughter from, like, no, the daughter that you had is just a son now. Like, that's what
you just
happened.
Added a penis to it. There's a dick there now.
Like, you had a daughter before who you don't remember at all. Like, you don't know anything about this supposed daughter that may or may not exist. You don't even know that it actually did exist. But you have a son. Do you love your son? Okay, go with that. Because this daughter didn't exist anymore.
Baby John look back at this, he'd probably be like, Baby John's probably gonna look back and he's gonna be like, why are you so upset that I exist instead of this hypothetical girl?
Exactly. Like, you realize if he didn't do that, then the son that you have would not exist. Stop being a little bitch. Like,
I was just like, okay, that was like unnecessary drama. Like, they made it bigger than it needed to be. I mean, unless like John, always wanted a daughter. But then again, I go back to my original statement. You guys are both healthy, well-abled people. You can just have another kid.
You can have a daughter. You just keep trying. Like, I'm sure you all are still fucking. So just make another daughter.
I mean, look at me. I asked for a daughter. I got a daughter on the first try.
Yeah, I asked for a son. I got a daughter. I love her, but still,
But
Sorry,
yes.
Gabby, I love you. It's cool. I'm just saying, I did want a son though.
But anywho, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so now they're like so we have like the more powerful people on the team now are under mind control, and the only two who aren't is just Oliver and Barry, because everyone's like, you know what, Barry, you should stay here. You're like the second fastest person on our team, but
Yo,
you
like,
should stay
yeah.
here.
The only other one who is as useful as the other metahumans in superhero shit, we're gonna just go without you, cause you went back in time and saved your mother. Like they
I'm
don't
sorry,
trust
you have
him
mommy issues.
because he saved his mother. Like, think about this. The rest of the team says they don't trust him because he saved his mother. Speaking of that, let me get into this for a second. With fucking Sarah. Let's talk about Sarah for a second. Her hypocrisy in this whole situation.
High horse.
Talking about like, yeah, you think I want to go back and do things to keep my sister, keep my sister alive and all that, but I don't because I know it'll mess up. You tried to. Like, the only reason why you didn't
Right.
do the shit is
like,
because you were
bitch,
stopped from doing it. You
I was
fucking
like 2 weeks
hypocrite.
ago, you were ready to kill this
you.
nigga.
Like, you tried to do so. Only reason why it didn't happen was because you were stopped. Fuck you.
You okay there?
It just irritated the fuck out of me. Like, yo, I get it. Like, if I were Barry, yeah, there's a very good chance I would have gone back and saved my mother. If I can go fast enough to go back in time and stop the reverse flash from killing my mother, I can't
stabbing her in the heart with a steak knife.
I cannot definitively say that I would not have done it.
Right.
And the thing is, when it comes to her, how she tried to act like she wouldn't have done the same thing, even though she just tried to do the same thing a couple weeks ago.
Right.
That is what I really have the problem with. Even if I wouldn't have done it even if I decided not to do it myself, I would not judge somebody who actually did do it.
Right.
And the problem with that is now the team is all split up, and then, shit happens and they get all fucked up.
Right. But, I mean, for plot purposes, someone had to stay behind so they could save the rest of them.
Also, let's talk about plot purposes here, because it's still like some convenient shit where they were just like, yeah, we left Haywood and Vixen back to clean the Wave Rider.
Yeah, why was that again?
They said they were left back to clean the Wave Rider because they're rookies, even though Vixen's more experienced than all the legends combined. But
she's older than everyone there. Literally. Yeah. I mean, not Stein, but she's older than everyone but Stein.
Yeah. And my thing is, it's just like...
And maybe Carr, because I'm not really concerned how old Carr really is.
That's irrelevant. But it's just... Clearly what happened was they filmed this stuff before they started filming the Legend stuff. So they weren't on set yet. Like... That's the way I saw it. So they had to find something else to say during the recording to explain why they weren't there.
Yeah, I just took that as like the same reason why they didn't have like Wild Dog and the rest of them from Arrow.
Yeah, well, they would have been useless.
They're what?
They would have been useless anyway, even if they were there. My thing was I like
manpower the better.
Was that?
The more manpower the better.
Yeah, well, I feel like they would have gotten in the way. I like the fact that Thea, though, when Barry showed up, like, yeah, I'll go. And they're like, I thought you were done. She's like, yeah, but it's aliens.
Right.
Like, yeah, I get it. Aliens, let's go.
But yeah, so now when everyone's like under mind control of the Dominators, I don't know. I was so turned off by this name for the aliens. Like, I was kind of like the Dominators. We couldn't think of a more creative. We couldn't even think of like a race for them to just call them besides alien. But anywho, so it's just them two, It's just them two, and versus everyone else, and they got Supergirl, and I'm just like, so how y'all gonna do this? Because y'all got like the most indestructible person on your side,
Mm-hmm.
on the opposite side, and so then all of a sudden, Wally's like, oh, I'm gonna go help them. And Iris is like, no, you're not. What are you gonna do? And he's like, bitch, please. I'm faster than Barry. I can help.
No, he
And
didn't
then of
say he
course,
was faster than Barry. He said he was faster than Barry was at that stage.
okay, right, excuse me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
faster than Barry was at this stage. So I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna help them.
And he got mollywopped.
And I was so like, even in my notes, I was like, oh snap, here's Kid Flash. But it's funny? He looked super funny when they had that slow mo of him running. He looked super funny with like his arms flailing behind him like that. So I was just like, why did you guys even do this? And then of course, like you said, he gets mollywopped, and I was like, and his 5 minutes are up.
Yeah, yeah. Then in the end, HR says, yo, I'll help you out. I'll help you train. I still don't get why he decided, like, yeah, I need this guy to train me because I don't know why.
Because he knows exactly what he's doing.
Even though he doesn't. I didn't understand that, but whatever. Now, coming to the end of this episode, let me just make sure that I'm not the one that was seeing things weird. Okay?
Okay.
But at the end of this episode, did it not show everybody getting abducted except for Barry?
I think so.
Yeah.
And Supergirl.
Well, to me, it looked like they took Supergirl too, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it looked like they took everybody. Then the Arrow episode started up, and it said that they didn't actually take everybody, which didn't make any fucking sense to me.
I have to go back and watch the beam me up part.
Yeah, because at the end, it looked like all that was left was Barry by himself.
I think some people went inside first, and then all of a sudden, zoom, 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 zoom.
Well, I specifically remember them taking Firestorm, though. Like, I remember them looking in Firestorm's eyes, and he got beamed up, too. So it was just like, so we're just going to ignore they, like, took everybody? We're just going to pretend they only took the Arrow people? Like,
plot purposes.
I mean, I'll accept it. I'm okay with it because the Arrow episode we'll get into now, even though it was basically just a reunion episode of Arrow, I enjoyed it,
Yes.
Like, because it was the 100th episode of Arrow. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. So they just made it a reunion episode, which, like I said, it made sense. So I was okay with it because we got to see people that we, hadn't seen in a while, people that we we missed. Most, importantly of which being Laurel,
Laurel.
Basically showing what would have happened if the whole Oliver's father killing himself on the boat and all that kind of shit didn't happen. He marries Laurel and all that kind of stuff.
He's set to marry Laurel.
Yeah, the perfect life and all that. Which, this episode was one of the ones that drummed up the feels, as the kids like to call it. Do y'all still say that? People still say feels? Okay. At
least I do.
Yeah.
It hit me right in the feels.
It did. What really got me on this episode, though, was Thea talking at the end, though. When she was just like, yo, I know this isn't real, but I don't care. Like, this is where I want to live because everything in the real world, as you call it, is so fucked up. But here, everything is okay. And I know this isn't real, but I'm willing to live with that because we have suffered enough. And we deserve it.
See, this is why I thought that partially I thought this was, a mid-season finale. Because, people can die in mid-season finales. People can get like, written out and all that stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
thought this was low key a way that they were writing out Thea's character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, she's staying. So what's gonna happen to her on the outside? I was like, is that just it for her? And I was like, oh man, they're getting rid of Thea. Nope, I was wrong.
Yeah. In the end, it's still the CW. So, they brought her back.
Nothing ever really stays dead on the CW, clearly.
Well, except for Laurel. She's still dead. They found a way to bring her back anyway, but she was still dead. That whole
Okay.
thing, they gave a little touching goodbye with Oliver and Laurel, though, which, once again hit you right in the feels because it's just like, it's what
Like,
could
why
have
must you do
been.
this to me?
It's what could have been. It's what should be if you read the comic books. It's supposed to be Green Arrow and the Black Canary. They are a unit. They are one.
They are done.
They experience coitus together,
Technically they already have, and he has with the White Canary as well.
Yeah. That was another thing too. So like with this whole fantasy world of this, it's just a fantasy where he never fucked her sister too, Cause
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, I wonder if in this universe, if him and Sarah were ever a thing, and they just managed to not die, and he just went back to Laurel.
well, see, that's the thing. I don't think in this whole thing he was like, I think he felt for Sarah, but I think his real love was Laurel, and he knew it, and that's why he stayed in the actual relationship with Laurel, and he was just, fucking Sarah on the side. And even the same thing with Sarah, because she even says in this episode, I prefer girls,
Yeah,
so they were just, being stupid.
it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid kids doing stupid things.
Yeah, you dumb kids.
But yeah, so can I also just say I liked it that I enjoyed this entire week that we didn't have to hear that same fucking introduction on any of the shows. Like on Supergirl, we went there. My name is Kara Zor-El, and blah blah blah, and I was sent here to protect my cousin. I am Barry Allen. I am the fastest man in the whatever. And then my name is Oliver Queen. Blah blah blah. And then that Legends of Tomorrow one, which I don't even know because I haven't heard enough to actually have it embedded in my brain. But you know what I'm talking about. It was so nice to not have to hear it this week.
Oh man, yeah.
And then I was also like, it was funny when they're at the rehearsal dinner for Laurel and Oliver's wedding, when we saw, Malcolm Merlin, we finally got a sighting of him. I was like, I wonder if they know that. Malcolm is Thea's father yet. And then he said something like, I know your father is proud of you. And I was like, nope, I guess not.
Nope. It's that perfect world where everything is still going well. So nobody knows that kind of shit. Nobody knows that Malcolm Merlin was, fucking Mama Queen,
And so when we had the first, sighting of Slade Wilson, and then, Sarah comes up with the quick save, I was like, oh, yay, Sarah's, instinctively kicked in to save their asses. And I was like, but that was so quick with Slade Wilson. Like, from him being in the trailer, I thought it was going to be so much bigger. But then he came back, and then I was like, okay, here he is.
Well, you got to
again.
think all those villains went away really quick. Like, Damien Dark didn't even do any magic,
Right, like, he just showed up really to say that one line to Sarah. And then I don't think I saw him for the rest of that fight. They probably had, someone just stand in to really do his fighting.
Exactly. Like I said, it was just, it was the 100th episode of Arrow. They used it as a reunion episode, which I was okay with. I would have rather had it been more about the team up, the crossover, all that. But
I wanted to understand more as to what the Dominators were trying to do.
Yeah, well, we got more of that in the next episode. But like I said, this one, I was okay with it. I would have liked to get more crossover stuff, but I was still okay with it. I enjoyed it.
Word. I will say this one thing. It was nice to see Ray and Felicity together. Well, see that they were still together, even though we all know Felicity still belongs with Oliver. I don't give a fuck if Laurel's alive or not.
Well, see, here's the thing with that. I'm conflicted on that because yeah, she should be with Oliver, and I don't like this new nigga she's with at all. I feel like he's up to something.
He is up to something. Let's just stop it. We know he's up to something. We know he's a part of something. There's no way he's being just thrown into the show and there's nothing wrong with him.
But at the same time, I see Oliver and Laurel together, and I'm just like, yes, this feels right. Because it's Green Arrow and the Black Canary. They are a thing. This is what it should be.
But in this
And
fantasy, he wasn't the Green Arrow.
I hear you. I hear you. He wasn't the Green Arrow yet.
Okay.
I hear you. John was the Hood, as they called him back then.
Yes.
But Oliver was not the Green Arrow yet.
It reminds me of one of those first few episodes. I think it was in the first season or the second season when Lance is kind of convinced. Captain Lance is convinced that Oliver was the Hood, and he had Diggle like step in for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that was a good. That was a good feel.
Yeah. And somehow Felicity was working with him. I'm not sure how they would have managed to meet each other, but whatever. You just accept it because comic books.
But just to say with the plot of this episode, I was happy that they had come around to it because, when you find out that there's another Hood or Green Arrow or whatever, they were calling him, is when Oliver and his dad are talking about Oliver taking over Queen Industries.
Queen Consolidated, yes.
Consolidated, sorry. And you look at the building and it says smoke on it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they're talking about Queen Consolidated, but yet the building's called Smoke. And I was like, that's so weird. But I'm happy they came around to it where they're just like, that really, like when Ray was like, that really does stand out. It's really out of place. And I was like, because it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out that it's the key to them waking up.
Yeah. That emotional Laurel goodbye, though, like I said, that's the part that hit me right in the feels when both Oliver and Sarah basically are saying goodbye to Laurel.
Let's just be honest. Laurel was the last stage. Laurel was the boss stage. All the villains standing up there were all like, mediocre fights. Laurel was the boss because she could have lured both of them to stay.
Yo, I really feel like they could have taken that a step further, though. I really do. Like, Terry Schwartz.
You have to kill Laurel to get by.
Yeah, Terry Schwartz on IGN said they should have taken it another step further, where they're like, yo, had her become the Black Canary, where Oliver and Sarah literally have to beat her down and kill her to move on and leave, How emotional would that have been,
I would have fucked with them, but I feel like it would have messed them up so much for when they did wake up to come back into, you know what I mean? Because now you're gonna wake up and be like, I had to kill Laurel in my dreams. Sarah and Oliver already got so much damage to them.
Yeah. So they get out of that whole little dream state and shit, and they wake up on the big mothership and shit. And I'm not sure why this is such a surprise, but they're up in space, and they were like, "You got to see this because we're not on Earth anymore." Like, well, they beamed you up, so
I think they'd at least be in the same atmosphere.
See, I didn't. I assumed when they did it, they left Earth atmosphere. It was just, I don't know. Maybe just because I think weird, but that's what I assumed that was happening. But
probably
they get. But anyway, they get loose. Somehow they're able to get into like one of the little mini ships, and they do this big space chase, getting shot at shit because they don't know how to drive the spaceship. Because
I won't lie. When it showed that they were in space and they did the pan out, I thought that was the end of the episode, and then they added more as to them leaving the spaceship and then getting collected by the Wave Rider, and I was like, oh, okay, y'all just being extra now.
Yeah, I literally wrote in here, Wave Rider to the rescue.
Yep. And then, of course, the big ship was on its way to Earth, is how I ended my notes, along with the next point being
Yeah.
tomorrow on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I ended mine with Mothership is headed to Earth. So that was the end of that shit. That was Legends. I mean, that was Arrow.
I was like, that was not Legends.
Yeah, we're getting to Legends now. So,
Oh, right.
Invasion Part 4. Or Part 3, I guess. Because it's Part 4 of the crossover, but Part 3 of Invasion, I guess.
Yeah.
And they decide, like, yo, we need to capture one of these dominators and shit. Because we need to know what the fuck they're up to.
And of course, because everything goes down in Oregon, they had to travel back in time to Oregon.
Yeah, because apparently Oregon's important. I'm sorry. If anybody's listening in Oregon, I don't hate you. It's just you don't think of importance in Oregon. It's kind of like I'm not from New York, but I know how New York shits on New Jersey. Because I don't know why, but New York people just shit on New Jersey all the time.
Not always, just when it matters.
I mean, I hear it constantly about New Yorkers shitting on New Jersey. But anyway, team decides like, yo, we need to capture one of these dominators and find out what the fuck they up to. In the process,
Because they're talking about some kind of weapon.
Yeah, in the process, Oliver's talking, just tripping on Supergirl, cause
Right.
Oliver, like, why are you tripping right
Oliver.
now? And for some reason, we're like, yeah, we need to go back to 1951 to capture, one of these aliens, and they send the B team. Like, yeah, we're gonna send Vixen, Heatwave, and Steel to go catch them because
they need to seem relevant towards the crossover.
Because that's the right team to go and catch an alien that we need that's vital to our survival. The ones that we don't know at all. And when
Oliver was telling Supergirl to sit behind, I was like, Oliver, your stupid is showing.
Yeah, like, why didn't you send her to go catch the alien along with this team, with the B team? And then we got fucking everybody who's like, the A squad going to just to meet the president. Like, yo, we don't have time for this right now. We don't need the entire A squad, the folks that we actually need to have shit happen, just going to say what's up to the president. Like, we need shit happening.
Right. Can we just talk about how what's his face called Haywood Star Spangled Idiot? And I really laughed super hard at that.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny. Like, yo, you look stupid. He really does. So
he looks Star Spangled. I still can't get over the fact that he looks a lot like a kind of a take on Captain America.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing they did not do that on purpose.
It's kind of like, you know who that looks like. Come on. You better quit it before Disney sues you.
Yeah, they were towing
Disney
that
owns
line.
half the world, so
they were towing that line. Also, speaking of, this whole team up and everything, the warehouse that they go to and all that kind of shit, I enjoyed the fact that they did that nod to the old school, because every time they showed it from the outside, in my head, even out loud a couple times, I was like, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, because it looks just like the Hall of Justice on the outside. I'm like, oh, that is great. That made me so happy.
Is that who those people were? Because I'm not gonna lie, I blanked out for probably 5-10 minutes of this episode, and the next day I knew these people in suits.
It's not the people that have the problem. I'm talking about the actual building that they were training in and shit, the little warehouse and shit.
Oh, okay.
On the outside, when they showed the outside, there was this. It looks just like the Hall of Justice. And if you watched Super Friends back in the day, you would have saw it then, or old comic books and all that kind of shit before they went to the Watchtower with the Justice League and all that. The headquarters of the Justice League or the Super Friends was the Hall of Justice, and on the outside of that warehouse looked like the Hall of Justice. And that was a very fun nod, and every time I saw it, I was like, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Okay.
I'll send you some clips of the old Super Friends cartoons so you can see what I got that from.
Cool, do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so explain to me now, who were the people in the suits who took Haywood in them, I think, when they were in the 50s?
Okay. So there are these government officials that basically deal with extraterrestrials and all the other kind of not confiscated. What is the word I'm looking for? Classified. That's the word I'm looking for. All the classified shit. And so they already knew about the aliens back in 1951. So once they, subdued that one alien, they swooped in like, yep, we're taking you too, which is the same people in 2016 that took them in. Same dude is in charge. You followed that?
Gotcha.
Right? So that's why they knew him and all that kind of shit. So that's why they already knew who the Dominators were and all that. They had worked out an agreement with him like, yo, we cool now? Yeah, we cool. But then Barry decided he was going to go back in time and save his mama. And they saw that shit like, oh, hell no, we can't have these metahumans here because, they can be a threat to us. So the Dominators came back.
Right, which ends up being like the real problem to begin with. Why when they were asking the alien like what, like why are you doing this to begin with? They were like, because you guys have these metahumans with all these powers and shit. And like you
go ahead.
It turns out Barry was the original reason. And I was
not the original reason. He wasn't the original. He wasn't the reason back in 51 when they showed up.
Oh yeah.
The reason when they showed up in 1951 was the Justice Society.
Yeah.
And which leads me to think like, wait a minute, that whole incident they were talking about when they all ended up dead, was that the Dominators?
Maybe.
And I'm like, what year was that old dude said they all ended up dead? Was that 51?
Maybe. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm thinking like, yo, did the Dominators kill off the Justice Society?
That'd be a good setup for like, that'd be like a cool full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's come around to.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, oh shit, is that a thing? Is that what happened?
But it was funny too. So in my notes, I was like, it all comes down to, God damn it, Barry, because they were like,
it still comes back to Barry,
right? No matter what, he still fucked it up. And then so when everyone was like, when Barry was gonna go sacrifice us, everyone was like, we're gonna go with you. So I was like, oh, series finales, everyone's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Every show is over. But then there was that existential, moment that Stein had, about his daughter. Because at first it seemed like, he was going to try and erase his daughter. I can't remember her name to save my life right now.
I didn't even write that down. I just said, Stein's daughter.
Yeah, me too. She had a pretty name. I just don't remember what it was.
Did she? Yeah, I don't remember.
She had a slightly nice name. So I was like, damn, he's gonna go back and try and erase her. But I'm just like, but he's underestimating the changes he can make in general. I was just like, for people who keep coming down on Barry about the one change he made and then went try to fix, y'all keep trying to change shit. And then
all these people fucking with the timeline and shit.
Right. And then Stein goes, he doesn't want to erase her, he wants to keep her. But Jefferson's like, you made an aberration, you're just gonna let her stay? And I'm just like, Jefferson, think of all the shit he could fuck up by trying to go back and now erasing it.
Yo, speaking of Barry though, clearly with that message, he fucked up some more shit. Like, there's more that Barry fucked up that we just don't know about yet. Because there's that, that message, plus if you, follow Kevin Smith, he mentioned in a video that he recorded, it's on his YouTube channel, there's more that Barry fucked up that we don't know yet.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's more. There's more that happened, because that actually makes sense. When after he fixed, he went back and like let Thawne kill his mother back in Flashpoint and shit. Thawne said like, yeah, there's more, or hinted at the fact that there was more, that things weren't all okay.
But Stein also kind of said that I think that he kind of hinted that it was his fault for the daughter.
Oh, the daughter, yeah, that was all Thawne. I mean, that was all Stein. That was all Stein. He knows that, and that's the thing. I'm talking about other things though. Like, we just don't know what else Barry fucked up.
Right. Because I was sitting there thinking, like, I was like, there's no way Barry fucked up to the fact that Stein had a kid.
Yeah, that's different.
He might have changed her gender. He might have originally had a son.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they even said that Stein did that himself by telling himself to like spend more time with his wife and all that kind of shit. And in the process, they made a baby. But yeah, there's more things though I know that we're going to see later on that Barry did with the whole Flashpoint thing and the paradox and all that. Like, he messed with some more stuff, which is why he sent that message back to Rip, who, is gone right now. They got to find him and shit, but he'll be back, I'm sure.
When is he coming back? I forget like when he even left.
Episode 1. He was just gone.
Okay.
I forgot what happened. But he's been gone since episode 1. But can we talk about that moment that we've been waiting for this entire crossover, was that awesome team up fight at the end? When they were all on that roof fighting the aliens and shit. Like, yes, there we go. Awesome. That's what we were waiting for.
Seeing them all in like line formation, just running towards each other.
Yeah. Made me so happy. And
did it make your eggs ovulate?
Well, it made me produce more sperm, Pants got shorter, all that kind of shit happened. Man. Also, there was that whole moment when Cisco realized because he saved that alien was the whole reason why that alien came back and wanted to take out Barry and all the other metahumans and all that kind of shit. So he realized, he had that whole moment when he realized, I was just trying to help somebody and I fucked everything up. Yeah, you got the whole planet invaded because you decided to help somebody when you weren't supposed to even be there. Crazy how that works out. Yeah,
it's crazy how this show keeps coming full circle with everyone fucking shit up, but only one person really gets yelled at for it.
I will say though, I do kind of chuckle every time Barry gets yelled at, because it's just like, you keep doing it.
Right? It's not like I will give him that, because he does it multiple times, and it's like, stop it, stop it. Which
is why what is his name in the parallel universe? His parallel universe dad. What is his name?
Isn't it Jay something?
Jay Garrett. Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot. Which is why Jay told him, like, yo, nope, you fucked up. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't go back no more. Nope. Right. We are done.
Well, he's coming back next episode for the mid-season finale.
Who, Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the guy who plays his dad, and that version of him is coming back. Not the dad, but like
Jay Garrett is coming back. Cool. Didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's in the preview when I think you see like Alchemy doing something, and you see the speed god. I forgot his name. Sevatar, and Barry goes, "You can see him, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can totally see that."
Yeah, that nigga. I know him.
But yeah, what else was I gonna talk about? So I like how they gave Kara something there where she can, come back. She can make her own.
Anytime you need to come back, press the button, slip on through. Yeah.
You know what I kept thinking about though when she went back home? I was like, what if she didn't go to the right place?
Yeah, was they fucked up and she went to like the Earth 32 instead of Earth 38?
Right.
Yeah.
That'd have been super fun. I mean, that'd be a cool episode for her.
Mm-hmm. In the
But,
wrong universe, like she went back and it was just like a universe where, like, you know, I don't know, where the Dominators did win and she was just there.
it could just be. It could really be like a nice little, like a little holiday episode where she keeps going from Earth to Earth, just trying to get to her
Just
own.
trying to get back home. Yeah.
Just trying to get home in time for Christmas.
Like that episode of Family Guy, Road to the Multiverse.
Yes.
I can see that. I would enjoy it.
But yeah, that's all my notes on Legends. I didn't really have a lot because at that point I kind of got heroed out.
Well, see, the thing is about that episode, it was just like it was the conclusion of all of it, and in the end, it was still about Barry and Oliver. Like, it was.
That's what it always comes down to.
That's the thing. When the episode ended, it ended with Barry and Oliver. It was, you know, those two. That's what this whole universe is all about. Oliver because he started it all, and Barry because, let's be quiet,
he fucked it all up.
No, even outside that, besides that, you know, of all 4 shows, Flash is still the best one.
True.
It's just what it is. So it comes down to Barry and Oliver every time. Like, even though they had, you know, when Barry was like, yeah, we should get together more often. And you're like, well,
Oliver's like, nah.
Oliver was like, yeah, and do what? And they, you know, they kind of hinted at it. It was just, you know, we get together, we have these, you know, little competitions and see who wins. And Barry was like, yeah, I won.
Yeah, I actually had to go back. Yesterday I was talking to someone who's like now binging Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had to go back and I had to convince him. I was like, you should watch Arrow, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow too. He was like, are those any good though? And I was just like, sit down, let me have a talk real quick.
Like, let me explain to you why this is all the greatest thing that has ever happened in the history of television.
Right.
Like, we literally got a mini, like, B-team Justice League show plus the Flash. Like, we got A-Team Flash, who's like, you know, A-Team Justice League, plus all the B squad of the Justice League.
Is the Green Arrow considered B-team on Justice League?
Yeah, he's kind of like the B squad, like behind like the Green Lantern. Like,
gotcha.
Like, there have been, like, you know, Green Lantern and Green Arrow team ups. That's kind of why people have been trying to make it happen to where John Diggle is actually John Stewart, the Green Lantern, you know, and he ends up becoming the Green. Let me tell you, like, when I tell you my pants got shorter during this crossover, if they make John Diggle the John Stewart Green Lantern, like, my erection will flip this table over. Like, to get John Stewart Green Lantern on live action television would be the greatest moment in television history to me.
All right, I'll take your word on that.
Because, like, thinking even back to the Justice League cartoon, like, those who watch the Justice League cartoon, that is our Green Lantern, is the John Stewart Green Lantern.
Not Hal Jordan?
Fuck Hal Jordan. Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
Like, the Justice League cartoon is the definitive Green Lantern for those who watch Justice League cartoons. It is John Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
All right.
After you finish watching, you know, Dragon Ball Z, because that's more important.
I'll put it on my list.
Oh, man. So anything else about this amazing week of crossover that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm all heroed out for the week.
Man. So what was your favorite episode of the week, though, of this crossover?
I think it's probably a mixture between Arrow and Flash together.
Bruh. Yeah,
because it's the height of, like, you know, my only real part that I liked about Legend of Tomorrow was the fight scene.
You got big hero fight with the aliens. Yeah.
Arrow and Flash put together. Like, if I could have like a 2-hour session, it's of those two.
Yeah, my favorite episode of the week would probably have been the Flash episode, just because it was that whole getting them all together thing. And you see them initially interacting with each other and all that kind of shit. Like Rory slash Heatwave, interacting with Supergirl was really funny to me. I enjoyed that. Just the different interactions that you got right away. That was fun.
Right.
And that Arrow 100th episode was that episode we really needed, where the characters got to say goodbye to people and all that kind of stuff. Like that last scene before Oliver left that little dream state where he was able to like say goodbye basically to his parents and his, and Laurel.
Which is funny because he was just talking about how he could go back and save his mom and dad, too.
Yeah, he was saying the same thing to Bear. Like, yo, if I could go back and do that myself, I would do it. And, he's right. Like, how many of us would not have done that,
Right.
If I had Barry's speed, I would have gone back and saved my mother. I can't say that I wouldn't have done that because I would have. Only difference is Barry went back and fixed it after he did it. Like, I wouldn't have. It's just like, this world has another Flash. Okay, you're good. You handle it. I might lose my speed. Whatever, my mama's still here.
But, yeah. Next week they'll confront Alchemy. I believe they're going after the Vigilante and Arrow. Mm-hmm. And I have no idea what's happening in Legends of Tomorrow next week.
Is there a Legends episode next week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It is called...
I really should have looked that up before I started recording, shouldn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have it here. I just gotta scroll up the screen. It's called The Chicago Way. And I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the West.
Hey.
Kind of. And
Chicago.
Light tones of racism.
Probably. There's been a lot of that on Legends the last, few weeks.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. That's going to be the end of this week's episode of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. I actually expected us to go further over than we did today. We only went over by about 13 minutes or so.
That's okay.
Yeah, not bad. But you can catch us, same time, same place, every week, Saturdays. Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. I'm your host, Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer. You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Sir Cussalott. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT on both Instagram and Twitter. Mara the Shark with me. Where can they find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Mara the Shark _. That's a DA, not THE.
Just spell the whole thing out, please.
MARADASHARK _.
There you go. What about Snapchat? You Snapchat shit, right?
MARBARLOVX3. I think I spelled that right. If not, it's on my Twitter bio.
She doesn't even know her own Snapchat, folks.
There's too many letters in it.
But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. We'll catch you same time next week. Until then, stay creative, stay free.
No, for this fucking thing.
Okay, bye.